I love history. I know you do too. And I've got to tell you, man, maybe I'm wrong, and I know you'll point out if I am, but I look at the historical great nations, great empires, great as in big and powerful, and I can't think of a single one that would allow a foreign-born rich guy to not only intentionally cause murder and civil unrest within its borders, but to brag about doing it, write about doing it, and then express his intention that he's going to keep doing it. And yet here in the United States of America, this is just allowed. George Soros is allowed to do this. That man is personally responsible for more rapes, murders, robberies, more misery than you can count. And he's announced he's not going to stop. And the United States of America, either they just shrug their shoulders or they pose for pictures with him.
Right. And if you point that out, you're the one who is at peril. So you're the one who's attacked, or you're the one who's an anti-Semite, even though when people say, oh, if you attack Soros, you're anti-Semitic, I go, wow, you should see what Israel has to say about Soros. So there's not even a coherent, like Israel's like saying the same things as you, which is this guy is a disaster and who knows, what he's trying to do. So Soros would be funding Palestinian terrorists if he could get away with it, but he can't actually get away with it because a real country wouldn't allow it. And America, of course, isn't a real country, and it hasn't been for a while. I don't know when exactly that point happened, but it's not a real country. It's a fractured country, and people like that can get away with whatever they want. But then the flip side, too, is, and, I upset a lot of DeSantis backers yesterday, which, surprise, surprise, I have opinions that are pretty principled, where I pointed out that DeSantis' largest backer, Ken Griffin, has promised $300 million to Harvard. And my homework was not done correctly because when I pointed that out, people got mad. And then I found out, no, he's promised $500 million. He's promised $500 million to Harvard. The latest $300 gift is just part of that. So I'm sorry, I didn't do my full homework. He's actually giving them $500 million. So this guy, by the way, Ken Griffin, is saying we need DeSantis, which breaks my heart because these are the reasons why I'm a free agent, because I don't have common cause with someone who wants to give $500 million to communist institutions like Harvard, and he can't fund some DA races. And that's the guy, by the way, who's telling us to move on from Trump. So the DeSantis people are wound up too, but this all threads together. And the common theme is that we're allowing Soros to, the country's allowing Soros to fund terrorism and anarcho-tyranny. But okay, well, they're Republican billionaires. Why isn't DeSantis on the phone calling this guy saying, what are you doing? $500 million to Harvard? Why don't you fund some DA races? Why don't you fund something good? And I don't want your support. If you think that that's where you need to spend your money, $500 million on Harvard, I'm not going to grovel to you. Like I was just thinking yesterday, I know you've run for office and you didn't have to play this game. And I've never run. People go, why don't you run for office? And I go, because it would be, and this is maybe my own pride, I admit, sinful, but I couldn't imagine going to someone like Ken Griffin, who is giving Harvard $500 million and groveling for him to sponsor a table or something. Oh, master, can I have, a little bit of money? Oh, master, will you fund a super PAC? Give me your crumbs. Give me it's just so debasing. And I'm disappointed yet again that DeSantis doesn't realize that he should have more dignity than to pal around with people who are funding the enemy, who are funding communists, who are funding the next generation of Soros prosecutors. So it all comes together where there's no real opposing force to this with our donor, our quote unquote, our donor class, the Republican donor class. Here's some crumbs, Ron. Here's some crumbs, but the real money, the $500 million, we're going to give that to Harvard.
Golly. I have so many gripes with the Republican donor class. I just can't. These stories that I've been told, 14-2. That was the spending in the Supreme Court race that likely made the presidential election unwinnable in Wisconsin. Not a penny for him. All right, you know what? I got to go. Mike, thank you, brother.
Support the First TV today and get instant access to exclusive specials like Who is Ron DeSantis, the history of FBI scandals, and America's worst presidents. Visit thefirsttv.com/support or download the First TV app to become a supporter and start watching today.